Here.
Commissioner Hankert,
Here.
Commissioner Heinzen,
Here.
Alderperson Cole,
Here.
Commissioner Tucker Long,
Here.
Commissioner Powers,
Here.
Mayor Diaz.
Here. Hey, full house. We'll move on to item 3, which is approval of the minutes from the March 2nd, 2020 and April 8th, 2020 Plan Commission meeting. Questions, comments, or motions?
Move for approval.
Motion by Alder Cole. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Tucker Long. Last chance for corrections to the minutes. Mr. Zaire?
You want a roll call vote on this?
No, we'll do a roll call for 4, 5, and 6. But in theory, the minutes aren't going to be controversial, I hope.
That works.
Last chance for corrections. Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes from the March 2nd, 2020 and April 8th, 2020 Plan Commission meeting, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. And the minutes are approved. We'll move on to item 4, which is discussion and possible action regarding a site plan review for Zander Solutions to allow for the construction of a 6,600 square foot building located at 421 South Nine Mound Road and 408 Venture Court. Mr. Sayer.
Okay, can everyone see that?
Yep.
Okay. Bear with me. So first item on the agenda is a site plan review to allow Zander Solutions to construct a 6,600 square foot new building and also to create 2 lots by a CSM, a certified survey map. Property in question is located at 421 South Nine Mound Road and also at 408 Venture Court. It has 2 addresses. It's also highlighted in red on the screen before you. It's a project that it has that 6,600 square foot addition, the CSM. And they also have a smaller 800 square foot small storage building they're putting in as well. It's a very small kind of addition. We'll talk about that in a second too. The Plan Commission did provide an initial review of this project in February of 2020. At that point, the renderings for that project were in black and white. Comments on that initial review was included about the ownership of the proposed lots and the potential tenants in the building along Venture Court. So the proposed building addition is located, the proposed storage area is located in an orange and screen before you. Can you see my mouse?
Yes.
Okay, so the small kind of storage area that's approximately 1,800 square feet is this orange building here. And then the new building, which is more of the bulk of the construction, is located adjacent to Venture Court. And that is once again 6,600 square feet. Staff did review the proposed setbacks of both buildings, and it does meet the setback requirements. Access to the site would be unchanged from what it is today. Access is currently provided from Venture Court on the south, and there's also a second access point to South Nine Mound Road. Access would remain the same, where you'd have the access drive coming in from Venture Court and then ultimately wrapping through the site. Parking is provided along here right now. So from a transportation standpoint, you're not going to have a high rate of speed going through here. There's employees parking there right now. Staff doesn't have any concerns with the access to the property. The applicant is proposing 10 parking spaces for this new building. Staff has no concerns with that. It's sufficient for the property. It's sufficient for an industrial use in the area. Drainage and stormwater plant details are actually under review right now. Staff has no concerns with those at this time. The design of the building, the proposed design of the building is very similar to what the Plan Commission saw last time, except this time it's in color. It would have this blue kind of banding along the top. This does match existing buildings that are in the area. The picture on the right is at 400 Venture Court. So that blue color is kind of the theme of this industrial park in the city. They also are proposing these stone columns. The stone actually in the picture didn't render the greatest. It's not as colorful as it's shown. It would match and be more similar to what you see at the coating place, which is actually in the lower right here. The front of the building would be the south-facing elevation, which would have the doors facing Venture Court. The backside would have those overhead doors. Staff has no concerns with the building elevations or design. It's consistent with the other properties and buildings in the area. They have a dumpster that is located northwest of the drive aisle in the area. As part of that, the applicant is proposing to have a chain link fence with vinyl slats. The only comment staff has on the dumpster is we would encourage more of a CMU type material. It's concrete masonry unit or a similar material. Quite honestly, the chain link and vinyl is probably okay, just because there's a lot of buildings in this area that actually don't have any just dumpsters enclosures, but we typically try to encourage that CMU type material instead, that block material. A detailed landscaping plan was submitted with the proposal. Staff has no concerns with it. By ordinance, they're required to have 230 landscaping points. The applicant is proposing 234, and staff has no concerns. As part of this, once again, they are looking at that certified survey map to create those two lots. Lot 1 would contain the existing building along with the storage areas that are outside for Zander Solutions. Staff has no concerns with either one of these lots. Lot 2 would contain that new building that the applicant is proposing here tonight. In general, staff is supportive of the second building on this parcel. We're also supportive of the additional storage building. The storage building would match what's out there today. The proposed building will fill an existing void or empty space along Venture Court. So with that, staff recommends the Plan Commission approve the site plan that would allow for the construction of a 6,600 square foot building on Venture Court and also a 1,800 square foot storage building. And then second, staff recommends the Plan Commission recommend to the Common Council approval of the CSM to create two lots at 421 South Nine Mountain Road and 408 Venture Court. I'd be happy to answer any questions from the Plan Commission.
Thank you for the report, Mr. Sayers. Questions, comments, or motions from the Plan Commission? Commissioner Lytle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. When we conducted the preliminary review a couple months back, I was curious as to whether the owner, Zander, was going to be occupying both buildings, and they, I believe, confirmed that they would. I guess I'm not saying that I'm suspecting that there's plans to change that in the future, but the building seems to be configured as if it might be able to be a multi-tenant building at some point in the future. Does that change anything? I mean, it might change the number of parking spaces required. Just looking for any thoughts staff have around that.
No, I mean, I think as we looked at it, obviously Zander has a use for it. Right now, I'm not sure if they'd be there forever, probably not. Most likely it would turn into some type of multi-tenant space. You know, from a parking standpoint, the types of uses you get in these buildings are quite low from a parking demand standpoint. So we're not overly concerned with the parking on the property because you're looking at more of those typical industrial type uses. You know, some of the adjacent uses in the area have been, you know, there's I think a countertop company in the area. Obviously it could be potentially office type use, but you have some of this kind of light manufacturing, almost storage in the back type use. Could be a contractor. So no, from our standpoint, it's not a commercial area. We wouldn't have any concerns if it was broken into a multi-tenant building. It doesn't change from our standpoint.
Other questions or comments or motions from the Plan Commission? Commissioner Lytle.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. With that, I'll make a motion that we approve the site plan to allow for the construction of a 6,600 square foot building on Venture Court and a 1,800 square foot storage building.
Motion by Commissioner Lytle. Is there a second? Seconded by Alder Cole. Motion before the body. Any questions or comments on the motion? Seeing none, we will have Mr. Sayer read the roll.
Commissioner Lytle,
Aye.
Commissioner Hankert,
Aye.
Commissioner Heinzen,
Aye.
Alderperson Cole,
Aye.
Commissioner Tucker Long,
Aye.
Commissioner Powers,
Aye.
Mayor Diaz.
And that motion passes. Next, we'll move on to item 5, which is discussion and possible action regarding the certified survey map to create 2 lots located at 421 South Nine Mound Road and 408 Venture Court. Anything to add to this, Mr. Sayer?
No.
And of course, this is a recommendation to the council.
Yes.
The plan commission can approve or reject site plans, but the certified survey map goes to the council. With that, questions, comments, motions? I mean, if it's like a stare off, I could make a motion to to keep it moving. I move that we recommend that the council approve the certified survey map to create 2 lots located at 421 South Nine Mound Road and 408 Venture Court. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Powers, I think.
Get in the stat sheet. Get in the stat sheet.
I have nothing to add other than I think this is a good plan and a good place to fill in with another industrial use. But motion before the body. Questions, comments on the motion? Seeing none, Mr. Sayer, if you would read the roll.
Commissioner Heinzen,
Aye.
Alderperson Cole,
Aye.
Commissioner Tucker Long,
Aye.
Commissioner Powers,
Aye.
Commissioner Hankert,
Aye.
Mayor Diaz,
Aye.
Commissioner Lytle.
Aye.
And that motion passes, and we'll go on to the Common Council next Monday. With that, we will move on to item 6, which is discussion and possible action regarding a site plan review for KSW office headquarters to allow for the construction of an 8,995 square foot building located in the Verona Technology Park at 1100 John P. Livesey Boulevard. Mr. Sayer.
Okay, so once again, this is a site plan review for a proposed office building for KSW. The property in question is highlighted in red on the screen before you. It's like the last item, this is for site plan approval only. So this is action actually by the Plan Commission. It does not go to Common Council. So this is potentially Plan Commission action on this item. The background of this is the applicant had an initial review of this project in March of 2020. That initial review included a proposed 8,200 square foot office building, and then also an initial review for potentially 41,200 square feet of flexible industrial uses to the east. That potential industrial was kind of still shown here potentially as a concept as part of the site plan submittal, but once again, tonight we're focusing on just the office portion of this project. In April 2020, the current property owner, Anarev, requested a CSM to modify the lot lines in this area. That CSM has been recorded or is in the process of being recorded. As part of that, there is some shared shared access along this drive coming into the site. But that CSM, once again, directly related back to the KSW office building, which is in orange on the screen before you. This project is located within the city's Southeast Neighborhood Plan. The intent of this area is to kind of create jobs, create employment, and a proposed office use fits with that kind of intention of what's in our neighborhood plan. The applicant is proposing to relocate KSW headquarters. Currently, KSW is located in Liberty Business Park across the street, and the applicant is hoping to start construction on this office building in the very near future. The building itself does conform to all the required setbacks. It would provide a kind of a bookend in the corner of County Highway M and Thousand Oaks Trail. Staff is supportive of the building location. It provides a nice looking building as you enter kind of the technology park at this corner. It kind of also helps kind of bookend with what's across the street at Liberty Business Park as well. So staff has no concerns with the building location or the setbacks. Access to the site would be from John P. Livesey Boulevard. Access on the actual plat itself for the technology park has been restricted from County Highway M and also from Thousand Oaks Trail. So access is not allowed from Thousand Oaks Trail. Staff has no concerns with the access point to John P. Livesey Boulevard. It's in an appropriate location. Relatively, currently that road has a very low volume to it. And in the future as well, it's going to be relatively low volume. So staff has no concerns with the access point. The parking itself, the applicant has provided parking on both the east and the south side of the building. Staff has no concerns with the parking. The applicant is proposing 32 parking spaces for the site. That's more than sufficient for post office use. The applicant has submitted stormwater management plans to the city engineer for review. At this time, staff has no concerns with the stormwater management plans. Detailed landscaping plan was included in the submittal. That is before you right now. The applicant is proposing a variety of plantings, including hackberry, swamp white oak, autumn brilliant serviceberry, and Kentucky coffee tree, and Black Hill spruce. It's a nice looking plan, and staff has no concerns that it'll provide a nice visual presence from from all three roads surrounding the property. The building itself, it's similar to what the Plan Commission saw before, but the applicant is proposing a building that's approximately 25 feet in height. It'll include a mix of metal, wood, and gray tones and CMU brick. They've worked with staff on a few comments and items that we had on this, and staff doesn't have any concerns with the proposed building design. The elevations are on the screen before you. The elevation from the southwest is this one here. This is from Thousand Oaks. This is actually a screening of the dumpster enclosure. They've put a variety of plantings in front of that as well to help further screen that. But staff is supportive of the building design. It's a nice fit, a nice look from County Highway M. In general, staff is supportive of the project. It's consistent with our neighborhood plan in this area. The building does contain high quality materials and creates a visual interest at the corner of County Highway M and Thousand Oaks. So we do support this project and recommend the Plan Commission approve the site plan for the KSW construction office located at 1100 John P. Livesey Boulevard. And I'd be happy to answer any questions from the Plan Commission.
Thank you for that explanation. Good. Oh, okay, sorry, computer problem. Thank you for that explanation. Questions, comments from the Plan Commission? Or motions? Alder Cole. Oh, you're muted, I think.
Muted, Katie.
Muted.
Was I muted that whole time?
Yeah.
Dang it.
So,
Okay, I'll start again. 1 second. Okay, I'm making a motion to approve the site plan review for KSW office headquarters to allow for the construction of an 8,990 square foot building located in the Verona Technology Park at 1100 John P. Livesey Boulevard.
motion by Alder Cole. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Heinzen. Anything to add, Alder Cole?
No, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I will add, just from myself, I like the landscaping design. I think swamp white oak and Kentucky coffee tree are really good inclusions, at least in my view. But motion before the body. Questions, comments on the motion? Seeing none, we'll have Mr. Sayer read the roll.
Commissioner Hankard,
Aye.
Commissioner Lytle,
Aye.
Commissioner Tucker Long,
Aye.
Commissioner Powers,
Aye.
Alderperson Cole,
Aye.
Mayor Diaz,
Aye.
Commissioner Heinzen.
Aye.
And that motion passes. With that, we will move on to item 7, which is adjournment. A motion to adjourn would be in order.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Commissioner Hankard. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Alder Cole. All those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
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 Opposed, no. And we are adjourned at 6:51 p.m. Thank you.